Welcome to my podcast called Roots for Growth, which brings great conversations about growing through the changes that come along in life and also focuses on resilience and mindful living. And most of the time I'll have guests. For this first one, I thought I would say a little bit about it and the story behind how I came to be here today. So Roots for Growth is a metaphor that came to mind while I was writing the book. And it's really about finding what we need within ourselves, finding those inner resources, clarity, what we really want from life. And my aim with this podcast is to spark curiosity and share learning and inspiration through what the guests tell us about. There's a lot of stories either based on from what's in the book or following on from that, which aims to bring new insights and connect you with what's important in your life. And the timing actually is significant that this is my business birthday. I'm 6 years on to the day from when I left my job in financial services. And it's really got me thinking about the timeline of all of that. And little did I know 6 years ago today, when I was actually packing up my desk and saying cheerio to people, that I would now be sitting, recording with a book in my hand. Got it here. Roots for Growth is here. And talking about the book and continuing the journey from there as well. And on that day, I distinctly remember handing my badge in and walking down the steps of the building. And when my foot landed on the pavement, something felt different. I felt a real change, a transition to actually not knowing, embarking on a leap of faith to the next phase of my life, which was a long time coming. Where it started really was, I realized in very early days that I wanted to support people. I thrived on supporting people with their development. I didn't realize I was coaching at the time, but I was from the age of 18 when I started full-time work, and went on to lead and develop teams from there in all sorts of contexts. And in 1997 came biggest change that was a wake-up call for me, and that was when my husband Alan was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis, and the definite diagnosis came 3 days before we got married. I was 23, thought I was very grown up, getting married, and my goodness, did I have a lot to learn about life. And I feel that experience and what's happened since has deepened my awareness of what it means to live a life of choice and fulfillment. I would describe it as wholehearted as well. That way of being aware and also sitting with and navigating through the challenges that come along as they have. So Alan's health has declined since then. And I would say along with that, both of our appreciation and perspective has increased and expanded since then. And we are very much about making memories. And a recent example was going to Canada on the holiday of a lifetime in 2019, and we nearly waited a year. Imagine if we had waited. I mean, we still have not got there now, I don't think, if we hadn't gone. So embracing those ideas and opportunities that come up in life, which has included the work that I do as well. I feel as I get older, and I'm not that old yet, but as I get older, I feel I have nothing to fear. I just want to embrace things. I'm excited about life. I enjoy having fun. And, a lot of people who start to work on coaching goals, for example, will name it as one thing, and it ends up being much more fundamental about being who they are, about having fun and prioritizing the people that are important in your life and the experiences that are important in your life. And through the book, I had the opportunity to interview several people who I happen to know well, I'm fortunate to know well, and also that I felt that they had messages of resilience and inspiration and encouragement. I think probably my favourite story was that of my sister, my twin sister, Leslie, who spoke about when her son Adam came into the world and all that she experienced with not knowing beforehand that he was born with Down syndrome. And the character that he is, which was literally shining in the background of the interview, he was laughing in the other room, and we were both, really tickled by the fact that at some of the most profound moments when she was sharing her feelings and her experiences, he was hooting and hollering and laughing in the next room, which really says a lot about Adam and how he lives his life. So that's in there too. And in this series, some of the people who I haven't mentioned today are coming back to talk about the next chapter. There's a real theme of stories, connecting with our own stories and the things that have been calling to us, that, what we want to do in life, and also when some of the people who I'll be interviewing have taken a leap into quite a change, and what happened next. And what I'm fascinated by is asking them, as we're live or as we're recording the interviews, is where did that come from and what did they do? What was the thing that happened in between the moment when they decided, I'm going to make that change, to there they are doing it. And the whole, I've a lot of faith that if you follow the path, I imagine it a bit like if you take a step to something before your foot lands, having that trust that take the next step and the path will appear in front of you. And it certainly served me well that doors started to open. I didn't have all the answers or a big grand plan or know a lot about the future, but what I did build is belief and faith in taking the next step. And as you can, I'm smiling as I'm saying it, trusting that the next thing that was right for me would come along, and it has. And it hasn't been easy all along the way, and it's the same for the people who I'll be speaking to. And again, I would like for you to hear from them what's inspired them, what's driven them, and how have they worked through the most challenging times to be where they are now. And especially in the theme of resilience, appreciating that people who are where they want to be in life or are living wholeheartedly have not glided through without any difficulties or challenges. They are very much people who've embraced things that have come along and grown as people and in business as well through the process of it all. So my plan is to put out an episode every fortnight, and that will be for at least 3 months. And again, how these things often happen is other opportunities come along to bring in other speakers, and it might be nice to continue into the new year as well. So that might well happen, to bring about the life lessons that people have learned for themselves, to get you thinking about what's important to you. And as I say, it's a lot about stories. I'll be reading from the book at times. The main centre of it all is the guests that I'll be having on, and the topics to for us both to share. But there'll be times when I perhaps read out an extract from the book or talk about what's happened since then. It's really about continuing the story and inviting other people to share theirs. So I do hope that you'll listen in. I'm curious to know what will happen next. A lot of these conversations have just a very brief kind of intro, and we'll take it from there as they come on, and we'll have a good conversation together. So first one is this weekend, and the next step will be in a fortnight's time, and I'll confirm very soon who the guest is going to be. So thanks for listening. This has been Roots for Growth podcast, coming out every fortnight on a Thursday evening. And I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to have your ideas for questions and topics and anything you'd like us to chat about. Thanks for listening.